Ms. Simeonova, it is an honor to have you here. We would like to thank you for joining us in the Academy for Cultural Diplomacy here in Berlin. We would like to ask you a series of questions, and we would like to hear your thoughts and opinions on some of the issues. We can start with the first question.
Exactly. So we would like to start by talking about the European Union. So what are the current major challenges of the European Union, in your opinion?
Well, I have been the chairperson of the European Union Affairs Committee at the Bulgarian Parliament. And in this capacity, I recently visited Swedish Parliament for the start of the Swedish presidency. And in my point of view, the priorities of the Swedish presidency of the European Union really are a showcase of the challenges that we need to overcome. Namely, the first priority is security and unity. I believe that Europe needs to really work on its defense policies, but also stand with Ukraine and show our united front in this brutal war that's happening there. Second, but not least important, is competitiveness. Our union needs to be more digital, more independent from resources, as we saw in the COVID crisis, that we need to make our economy more resilient. On the third place, the Swedish presidency has put the green transition, and I believe with all other crises that have happened in the past few years, we shouldn't also forget the global warming and all climate changes that we need to take measures against. And last but not least is democracy and the rule of law. Being here today talking about global threats to democracy, I believe we all politicians and civil society, we realize how important it is to put this priority on our agenda. So I think if we work in these four fields, we should be able to tackle some of the most important challenges that are in front of us.
For sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roberta.
Since you also stressed that democracy is one of the things that is in threat and what the world actually needs most, I would like to jump into another question more about cultural diplomacy. What would you, or how do you think, like, how do you define cultural diplomacy and its importance in your opinion? And do you think that cultural diplomacy can play a major role in to set a new world order?
I was actually very thrilled to receive the invitation to this forum in order to explore how film and arts could bring important topics related to democracy, to freedom of speech, to human rights. And actually in my speech today, I was talking about one movie called Navalny, a documentary movie where a major role is played by Christo Grozev, who's an investigative journalist from Bulgaria. And in my perspective, arts, movies, cinema in general are very important to also translate such political issues to the citizens, to the society. And in that sense, to me, cultural diplomacy means how to basically through arts, through culture, promote values of democracy, of human rights. And this event, in a sense, is a very good emblem of that, good example of that. And I'm very curious to see how in the following days, meeting other cultures and talking to representatives from different countries could really emphasize important topics that are otherwise discussed only on political level.
Thank you very much.
And so as a senior politician, what is your message for the future generation of young leaders?
Thank you. You're very kind. I'm actually a politician since rather recently. Before that, I was active in the entrepreneurial world, supporting entrepreneurs to commercialize their ideas. However, as a politician now, my message is to all young people that actually it is our time now to be active, to stand for our values, to create a world which we would like to live in. And my personal goal as a member of parliament, as a politician in Bulgaria, is to motivate more young people to be part of politics in one way or another. We often hear that it's not, how to say, it's not so interesting, or it's not our time now, or I'm not watching the news, or I'm not watching the National Assembly from younger people. But on the other hand, once we have young people part of this dialogue, we also hear their voice more often, and then politics would be, in a way, more interesting for them when they hear people who they can relate to. So my message is be active, follow the news, follow politicians, and be part of the dialogue, because your voice needs to be heard. And be brave, because our world needs brave young political leaders who would change the status quo and make the world a better place, hopefully.
I think you're extremely inspirational. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much to...
Yeah, in addition to that, I would also say thank you very much for this interview. It's a great message that you're bringing out there, especially to the young generation, because we really need a world with a young spirit and people who are actually willing to change the world for a better place. So thank you very much for your time. It was an honor and a privilege to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very
ladies.
much.